Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com, and let's talk about my top 10 stocks for next week, Monday, June 21st. Hopefully, you all had a good week, but now it's time to turn our attention to next week, and this will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are a technical trader, someone that uses charts, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used, then you're going to find value with this video. So let's get to it. First ticker, AMC. Been following this one very routinely, as has basically the entire financial world. And this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched the videos previously, but made the comment in the video from Thursday about that trend line right there being very, very stubborn. And once again, and I mentioned it's a tricky trend line because the problem is it looks like it's going to break out and then it doesn't. And I illustrated this again in the previous video, but right there was an example of that. And then we had history repeat itself again. A very cruel trend line. Price broke above it, acted like it wanted to be strong, and then completely rolled back over. But this is the good news part of everything. And again, this will mean a little bit more to those that have watched past videos, but notice where the big move stopped. Well, right there at that green line, which I talked about as support at 57. So good to see that $57 is indeed still acting as support, and that'll without doubt be that first key level to watch going into Monday. And then as far as resistance levels, again, nothing new here to report. Still all about that trend line there, which again, as I said, but I'm going to repeat again, because the price gets above that trend line, the trend line has now shown again that it's very sneaky. It's a prankster. It likes to make people think that breakouts are occurring, just to have them not actually occur. Now, yeah, the next time it breaks up through there, assuming that happens, that may be the start of something bigger. I'm just saying that you got to, let the price prove itself first, that not only does it want to break above that area, but stay up above it. So really kind of a case of deja vu. The exact same levels that I talked about previously still pertain going into Monday. Next ticker, WISH, and I wanted to kind of squeeze things down here because after today's price movement, big line in the sand in terms of, all right, what's the level that's going to really need to be broken that a whole lot of people are watching. And after today's price movement, right there around $12.10. Again, generally speaking, a very, very in-your-face resistance levels. I mean, you go through there, and again, generally speaking, knock the price down. Generally speaking, knock the price down. And then today, got right up around that area and once again knocked the price down. So I'm not saying that the price can never get above that area. I'm just saying there's a ton of people now watching that level. And I say that and bring that up because when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. But while nothing is guaranteed, more than valid to think that if the price gets up there and breaks up through that line, that break could create a very nice upwards movement. So that'll definitely be the line in the sand there from the resistance side of things. Again, right up around 12.10, 12.15. In terms of levels of support, actually, let's just do this. I'm going to zoom in here to make it a little bit easier to see. But in terms of levels of support in the near term, ideally, if the price, there we go, can stay up above that trend line right there, that would be a very nice scenario. So I'll change that. Can you tell it's Friday? Can't even get into the annotations anymore. The weekend is here. Apparently I need it. But there we go. So let's just change the green to represent the support area. So yeah, from the support side of things, as long as the price stays above that line, that is presenting a very nice pattern. Up and down within this pattern, and that remains valid as long as the price is above that green line. But overall, 12.10, 12.15, definitely the main level to watch on Monday. Next ticker here, GERN, and this is one of these situations where there is clearly a lot of attention on it. Massive volume today. Big price movement, but the big question mark moving forward is, okay, it's pulled back, which is fine. No price can go straight up, but is this a pullback or is this actually the start of a much bigger reversal where things come back down? This could very well just be a nice bull flag pattern like this where you get the breakout next week and that remains valid, but it is got, there is that big question mark because on the flip side is, yeah, maybe this is just a one-day wonder. Maybe this thing is going to continue to bleed downwards. And moving forward, in my mind, a very important level of support that you're going to want to see the price stay above is going to be that $1.75 mark. $1.75 I won't call a do or die level, but definitely if the price were to go down there to right around $1.60 and then break down through there, at that point, that would essentially be putting the price right back inside of that range where it just was. And I mean, price movements that go back to where they were, I mean, that's just not a sign of strength or anything like that. So that'll be the main areas of support. But in the event, this is just a pullback before a bigger move to the upside in terms of levels of resistance. First key level to watch closely going to be right there at $1.97. And then after $1.97, next key level up there right around $2.20. So yeah, that'll be the main dynamic. Is this a pullback? Is this just a healthy movement here within a much bigger upwards move? We'll see what happens with it on Monday. Next ticker symbol here, CLNE. And like, what was that? Yeah, Wish have another overall well-defined area that has reared its ugly head once again today, right up there around $12.65. So like Wish, generally speaking, rejected the price, and then once again rejected the price. So same principle there. There's going to be a lot of people that have noticed that level. So if the price does go up there and can get the break up through it, no guarantees, but that is a valid thought to have, that that could very well create quite a bit of upwards buying momentum. So keep a close eye on that area right there. And then as far as levels of support, again, almost a case of deja vu. Same general pattern, but while it's, this level up here is annoying, you do still have some higher lows being put into play, which is being established by that trend line right there. And look at that. Got it on my first try. I'm making improvements here. But so we're right there again. As long as the price stays above that green line, that implies that this nice little, mini wedge right here is staying in play from the bull side of things. So again, if the price goes below the green line, does that mean the entire chart's destroyed? I'm not saying that, but as far as what would make this pattern look the best moving forward, staying above that green line would accomplish that. But yeah, all eyes definitely going to be right up around that red line going into Monday. Next one here, my good friend Tesla, TSLA, and red lines here talked about previously as being areas of resistance, and you can see that, that's basically right where the price got caught up, right around this general resistance zone. But overall, a good solid day. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines for now, because really the main dynamic here that I'm very curious about next week is this level right there at the 617 mark. Can that level hold? Is this truly the start of a good, solid trend back in the upwards direction? And to me, that's the level that's going to help, determine that, because if the price were to come down here and then head right back up and bounce off that level, that would be a great higher base. That would be giving you a set of lows there and there and there and there. And then if you envision those as stair steps, I mean, truly a good, solid, healthy looking stair step. Now, I mean, if the price goes down there and drops below it, does that destroy the chart? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, this has been a very, very impressive move. I mean, but is it truly strong? Does it have genuine strength behind it? Well, if it can now start to manage to stay above 617, in my opinion at least, that would imply that this has definitely been a good solid move. And then as far as levels of resistance, this general area right here at the 626-ish mark, give or take, is going to be that key level, which rejected the price there. And then that's right where the price kind of got caught up. Got temporarily above it, but the momentum didn't last very long and back down below it went. But overall, it definitely put in higher lows. But let's see if it can stay above 617 next week. Next one here is ORPH, which may seem kind of goofy to talk about because it got absolutely demolished today. But this will mean a little bit more to those who have traded for a while. I'm sure you've seen stocks that get demolished, that get beat down, and then there can be some pretty impressive bounces. Now, I'm not saying reversals. I'm not saying this thing's headed back up to, $17. But even if there's just somewhat of a bounce, I mean, from a percentage standpoint, that can add up very quickly. And that's what we have here. And what makes this interesting is, yes, it huge gap down and then just bled, but then did start to go sideways and closed out the day, and I guess it's Friday, so closed out the week with a couple of nice little doji hammer candles, whatever you want to call them, which suggests, again, not a guarantee, but it's at least valid rational to think, maybe this is some sort of bottom here that's finally forming, which is why this area of support is very, very important, because if this is some sort of bottom forming, well then by definition, right, the price needs to stop going down, because if the price keeps going down, well, that's not a bottom, right? So common sense from that regard. But that is why that 690 mark very important, because, as long as the price stays above 690, it at least makes it a valid thought to throw out there, this is bottoming. It's continuing to go sideways. But like I said, breaking down below 690, well, it's not going sideways any longer, and you couldn't really, think that would be some sort of bottom. So assuming 690 holds and then assuming the price starts to head back up, first key level of resistance I'd be very curious about is how does the price behave around 785. And then the next level would just be that pink line right there, which on my chart denotes the 200 period moving average valued. Oh, that makes it easy, basically at 885. So 785, 885, next key levels. And if the price can break above both of those, as this one has shown in the past, this thing can move very, very quickly. Now, I'm not saying that if it just breaks above those levels, it's going to for sure shoot up like that again. But my point here is the potential is there. So that's why even after a big, nasty gap down today, still worth at least keeping an eye on. Our next one here is our penny stock one, which I think I'm of the top 10. I think I'm always going to pick one penny stock because I know a lot of people are interested in penny stocks. But in this one here, PHIL is the stock. And what's very interesting about this one is that it is essentially broken up through that resistance trend line. And that just now brings up the valid question of, okay, is this the start of something bigger? The breakout has happened, but is this going to keep building on itself? Is it going to get more momentum? And that remains to be seen. But that is certainly the main dynamic here, is that a big step has now been accomplished. It's broken through that trend line. Now it's just, okay, well, can the trend line continue to build upon itself? So from that angle of things, and let me offer up a bit more perspective, you squeeze this down, and you can see that I don't know if I can say all-time highs, but it's, as you see here, highs that have not been seen for a very, very long time. So good solid breakout to end the week. And now it's just a question, and I mean, with being a penny stock, is there going to be enough drama, chatter, pumping? Are people going to be getting this thing all fired up, all the shareholders, and let's go to continue on with the breakout? We'll have to see what happens with it. And then from a support side of things, if there is any sort of pullback, then that's where the purple line comes into play, the 50-period moving average, valued basically right down there at 0.01. But as of now, yeah, good solid breakout, but is the start of something much bigger? Hey, very nice way to close out the week. There's going to be plenty of chatter on it over the weekend, so we'll see what happens. Next one here, SNDL, and this is more of a, I know a lot of people out there are talking about it, and it's been a while since I've mentioned anything with it, but there's really not a whole lot to say other than the bears are in full control, which brings about and I realize those are just words. Okay, Clay, the bears are in full control. What does that even mean? And that's why I love charts. They allow you to take words and phrases and, make them very visual. And what I mean by that is it's all about that purple line there again, as I've said, the 50-period moving average. And you can see that ever since that purple line leveled off right there and then started to curl back downwards, it has been a great indicator in showing that, yeah, the bulls are struggling with it, including right there. Reminds me of AMC, those faulty breakouts of that level before dropping back down. Price tried to break above it right there. Again, another miniature faulty breakout. And then since then, hasn't even been able to get back up to that line. So my point here is this. The bears are in full control, yes. But brings up a valid question. Okay, well, then how do you tell when they're losing control? And the first sign that the bears are losing control is the price has got to be able to get above that purple line and stay up above it. And I'm emphasizing stay up above it because, again, we've had some instances where the price has gotten up above that purple line, but when it comes to staying up above it, hasn't been able to do it. So, yes, the bears are in full control. When do the bears start to, lose control? The first step of that process of them losing control would be getting above and staying above that purple line. So that is by far the level that matters most moving into next week. Next one here, TRCH, and did this one earlier in the week. And I thought it was not necessarily dead. That's probably too strong of a word, but pleasantly surprised to see that it's made its way back onto the watch list here because it had that pullback. The volume dropped off quite a bit, so it became one of those situations of, okay, has everybody already started to forget about it? But nope, today it was one of those days where it's like, hey, remember me? My name's TRCH. And up the price went, and it's now putting the price back in some very interesting territory as it's up right around these highs right here. So what I'm actually going to do is just draw this trend line down. So the first key level of resistance is going to be that trend line right there. But then the next level is ultimately going to be these all-time highs right up at 675-ish. So actually, let me change that to make it stand out a little bit more there. So again, yes, you have these highs up at 675, but my point here is before you really put too much emphasis on doing battle with that, let's just first see if the price can even break above that trend line right there. But if it can, then yeah, public enemy number at the next point would be the 675 mark. But you get above 675, and that's put it in right back in the breakout territory. So keep your eye on those areas from the resistance side of things. And then from the overarching standpoint, and again, this will mean more to those of you that watch the videos from earlier in the week, but been talking about that purple line there, 50-period moving average, and this is why. Look at that. You just can't make this stuff up. Beautiful, perfect bounce right off the 50-period moving average, and there it went. So point here being that is and remains the key level of support to watch moving into next week. And then our final one here, ALF, kind of a case of deja vu. Same principle as TRCH. Talked about this one earlier on in the week, and then the volume basically dropped off. Became a question of, well, I guess people have kind of forgotten about that when they've moved on to other things. And then it was a kind of a, hey, remember me day. My name's ALF. Volume came back in. Price reacted very nicely, which, again, just like TRCH, makes it at a very interesting location as far as the chart is concerned because you can see there's this general area of resistance right up around $8.50. Not perfect, but you get the general idea that the price was up around this area previously and then once again got rejected from it today. So one of those situations where a lot of people will be watching that level, so not guaranteed, but more than rational to think that if the price can consolidate out, get up to that level, break up through it, then that could create quite a bit of upside momentum because people are just buying because, hey, it's a breakout. I'm a breakout player. I'm going to buy. If the price does get up through there, then yeah, at that point, it becomes all about that area right up there at 925, which I'm going to make the color of the sky because that is essentially a blue sky breakout, I think. Let me double check that. Yeah, that would be putting the price up at levels that are technically speaking, haven't been seen before. So 925, that blue sky breakout point. But again, before you put really any emphasis on that, well, let's just first see if the price can get above 850. And then as far as supports are concerned, again, all about that purple line there, which, like I said, you just can't make this stuff up. Look how it came down to that area. And if you were to picture this as a wave and then the price action as a surfer, I mean, the price did a fantastic job of just surfing nicely along that wave. So from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price is above that 50 period moving average, then from the bullish side of things, the trend is still completely bullish, completely healthy. So those are the top 10 stocks for the week. Hopefully everybody did have a good week, and we'll see what happens with the new week next week. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Also, if you want to learn more about my strategy, how to use charts, what charts are, and kind of how they should be used within a general trading strategy, then I do offer a free live class, and I'm going to give details on that right after this video is done. So it'll cut to a different video. But like I said, if you want to get signed up for it, learn more about it, just stick around for a couple more seconds because I'm going to tell you about it right now. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.